Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video, and in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Adesanya versus Strickland fight. If you are new around here though and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need a like video, and let's get straight into it. So going into this fight, Adesanya is 24-2 with 16 KOs and no submissions, and Strickland is 27-5 with 11 KOs and 4 submissions. This fight is for the UFC middleweight title. Adesanya's last fight was a win via KO in round 2 versus Pereira, and Strickland's last fight was a win via KO in round 2 versus Magomedov. Strickland's UFC losses have come against Ponzinibbio in 2015, Usman in 2017, Dos Santos in 2018, Pereira in 2022, and Cannonier in 2022. This is Adesanya's 11th title fight, and of course another defence of his title, now defending it back again after winning it back versus Pereira. And just to speak about what I've just said there, last time out for Adesanya, of course, was a great victory for him. It was one which was 100% necessary for definitely just answering the questions and even answering the demons in his own head that I'm sure he had coming off the fact that he'd lost 3 times versus Pereira, and the way that he won was emphatic and means that he's definitely going to be riding a bit of maybe not a hype train, but maybe he's going to have a bit more of a momentum going into this fight now, even if he hasn't won multiple fights in a row. Strickland though, he's won a couple in a row now. It was a good win last time out versus Magomedov. In the first round he was kind of getting bossed about a bit, but in the second round there's a very dominant showing and pretty much did just make him into a punch bag in the end, and it was a good performance. Do I feel like he deserves this step up into a title shot? No, realistically. It wasn't really supposed to be him. I believe it was supposed to be Du Plessis, but he, I believe, has an injury at the moment or something like that. So Strickland's now been kind of bought in to just be the next replacement and to just keep, I suppose, Adesanya active. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I feel like that probably is the case because, realistically, Strickland's lost against all the other top contenders, and Adesanya doesn't really want to fight any more of the top contenders because he's fought all of them other than Strickland, and so I suppose Strickland's the only real option left, bar Du Plessis, who he hasn't fought at that top level, and it's just, like I said, Strickland's lost versus all the best so far, so on paper you kind of must think that it's going to end the same way, but of course that means that Adesanya might be overlooking him. Also on this card is Tuivasa versus Volkov, in which I think Volkov will win via KO in round 3. I'm a fan of Tuivasa. I enjoy what he's about. He's a funny guy. He's entertaining. But realistically, I think he's not on the best of runs at the moment. I don't think he's fighting his best fights at the moment. I think his hype train has most definitely died down. I think Volkov's on a very good run at the moment. He's been stopping fighters since his loss versus Aspinall. He's been doing well, and so I think he's going to be able to get a KO victory here. I think it will be most probably quite emphatic, to be honest, and I think it could be a rough night for Tuivasa and in front of his home fans as well. Probably not what you're wanting to see, but that's what I think will happen. Moving on to speaking about the Adesanya Strickland and speaking about them as fighters, Adesanya, he's, in my opinion, got that more variety. He's quicker, he's got good technical ability, got good shot variation, got good takedown defense, he's confident, he's loose, he's never really out of a fight, he's faced adversity in his own right now and managed to prove that he can come back from that. He's accurate, he's got good feints, he's got a switching stance, he counters well, he's a mid-range type fighter, got good timing, he flips the momentum and got good head movement as well, and he has to be so well-rounded to be at the top of the game like he has been for so long, and there's very few fighters that can fight at his level and fight at the level when he's on his best. Not many people can beat him, and he's shown that multiple times now, and it's just getting him on his best. But last time out, like I said, was arguably him at his best. First round was dominant, second round managed to get a stoppage, timed him perfectly with the counter, and was using that accuracy and that composure even really on the back foot to be able to do what he did and land the shot and be able to get the stoppage when he did. And like I said, it was a very emphatic way and one which is only going to benefit him and his demons and everything like that. And you just may be thinking that possibly he's coming into this maybe a little bit too overconfident, might be, like I said, overlooking, thinking that Strickland's not really a valiant opponent and thinking that it's going to be too easy. Now he's fought somebody like Pereira and beaten him, who was like maybe like the final boss or like one of the toughest people to beat for him. So it would be interesting to see what kind of performance he shows, because I mean the last time that he fought somebody that wasn't Pereira was Cannonier, and it wasn't his best performance. He kind of coasted through it, he cruised through it, and didn't really show anything of note, and didn't really win as convincingly as what everybody thought he would have. I mean, it was a good victory, but it wasn't anything special. He didn't really show anything of interest, and it just shows that at times he can coast, he can cruise through fights, and sometimes he's not always going to be switched on, and maybe at times he does need that good opponent to really get himself up for the fight. And so like I said, it'll be interesting to see how he is going into this fight. I mean, other things, he maybe not always the best at. I mean, he can be hurt. It's shown that he can be hurt now, and in that first fight especially, he got hurt bad, and so there's definitely possibilities there. And Strickland isn't anywhere near realistically the ability of Pereira, but he's got similar attributes to an extent, like the striking, the upright quite stance, and the accuracy and the power. It's similar to an extent of Pereira's, so I feel like there definitely could be success which Strickland could find from striking, and I feel like this will be a stand-up contest. I don't see this going to the ground realistically. I don't feel like either of these will do that, and so I think this could be possibly something which could favour Strickland to an extent. I mean, he can take too much punishment at times, Adesanya. He can struggle against strikers at times, and like I said, he has to be up for the fight, and be interesting to see if he really is up for the fight or not. Strickland as a fighter though, he's aggressive, he's strong, he's powerful. Realistically, he's not really got much pressure on him for this fight. He's used to being the underdog really, and he's confident, controlling, he's got good boxing, he's got good takedown defense, he's got good straight shots, he's kind of swarms you when he's got you hurt, and can close out the show, and does know how to close out the show. He's calm, he's accurate, he'll walk you down, and so like I said, it's good attributes there. Not anything crazy, but it's good technical, well, I wouldn't say overly technical, but good boxing ability, and accuracy is good, and I feel like there's definitely attributes there where he could find success with for this fight. And the fact that he hasn't really got any pressure on him as well, like I said, he's used to being the underdog. Against most major opponents he's faced, he's been the underdog. The last couple fights he's been the favourite, and he's won that emphatically, but he is used to being the underdog as well, and so I feel like he might thrive, and Adesanya might, like I said, be overlooking because he is such a clear favourite for this fight, and everybody's saying, is this fight even necessary for him? It's seemingly on paper that easy for him. Strickland negatives, he's quite flat-footed, he's slow, will stand straight on, he's quite one-dimensional, he is open to counters, he can be a bit too stubborn at time and maybe not make the necessary adjustments needed during a fight to really win a fight, and maybe might go into fights with the wrong mindset and not be willing to do things where maybe he could do them and then win from them. He's not amazing on the back foot either. He's upright and keeps his head very level on. He doesn't level change his shots enough and doesn't use his other striking abilities enough. Is very much just a boxing fighter and can be quite predictable at times with his strikes as well. And so I feel like there's things there definitely that Adesanya could beat upon. There's definitely ways for him to catch him with a counter, which means he could win. But Strickland's tough in his own right. Yes, he has been stopped before and has been stopped quite emphatically, but he's tough. He's now, this is his big shot. He's definitely not going to be wanting to come in and just get absolutely mauled through and then battered, and then that's just not what he's like. He's not going to want that to be the case. And of course, Adesanya is the favourite for this fight. I think that Adesanya will win via unanimous decision. I don't think it will be a stoppage. It wouldn't surprise me to an extent if it is a stoppage, but like I said, I feel like Strickland's going to be going in with this mentality of he's going to be too tough to get stopped, and he's probably going to find a bit of success. I wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't find early success and Adesanya grows into it later on and wins 3 out of the 5 rounds. And so I feel like there's no chance in really, or no point in really overlooking or writing off Strickland, but I still think that Adesanya will comfortably get the job done. And then where do he go on to next? Pereira again, another option. I mean, realistically, if Duplessis, we don't know how long he's out for, that's the fight to make in the middleweight division at the moment. But like I said, you don't really know how long he's out for, so if you can't fight him, Pereira again is another option. If he wants to move up in weight, then Pereira, Blachowicz, Ankalaev, there's possible fights there. Would there any of them happen? I don't know, but like I said, possible fights there. I don't know if he even will consider moving up again, but wait and see. Or Cannonier, another option. He's been back to winning ways as of recent, and I wouldn't hate that rematch, but I do think it would have to be a bit more action-packed in my opinion. I think they're going to have to, and Cannonier especially, is going to have to come into that fight and would have to show a lot more and give him a reason for why he should realistically get that shot and why he deserved that shot. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like if you did, like this, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.